Hi, this is Mr. Wedge, and in this video I'm going to show you how you could make a landscape with a realistic road in it using one-point perspective. So for that we're going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, and a ruler. So first thing we need in a landscape is the horizon. And the horizon tells you where the sky is and where the ground is. And it can be anywhere as long as it's horizontal. So horizon, horizontal. So you wouldn't want it diagonal. Definitely wouldn't want it vertical. So this is the line that cuts the sky and the ground in half. But it doesn't have to be in half. There's this rule called the rule of thirds, and it means the horizon looks nice, a picture looks nice, if the horizon's at the top third, so I could draw it there, or at the bottom third, like that. But it's up to you where it goes as long as it's horizontal and it looks nice to you. So I want mine right about there, so I'm going to hold the ruler with one hand. And I've got my ruler lined up with the top and bottom of the paper, so I can just draw a line. And we'll just have a road going through the desert, because the desert's big and open and flat and you can see for a long ways. And we could put like the distant hills or mountains, like that. So already I've got the sky and the mountains and the ground. But now I want a road, and the road's going to be on this imaginary point that's at eye level. Horizon is always at eye level. But it doesn't have to be right in the middle of it. The vanishing point in a one-point perspective has to be on the horizon. It's got to be on this line that we drew. But it doesn't have to be right in the middle. I'm going to make mine more interesting and put it off to the side a little bit. So there's my vanishing point. It's not a real thing. It's just a dot. And now the sides of my road, they go away from me. They go into the picture. So because they're going away from me, they're going to look like they're going to the vanishing point. So those will be diagonal probably. And if you make your lines really far apart, really wide like that, edge of the road, it's going to look like you're low on the road. If you make them really narrow, like that and that, it's going to look like you're high up looking down on the road. But I'll try one and you'll see what I mean. I'm going to make mine out like this. So I connect, see the ruler is actually on the dot right there. The edge of the ruler is on the dot. So then I just draw a line from that vanishing point right off the edge of my paper. And I've got one side of my road. Turn the ruler. As long as the edge of the ruler is on the vanishing point, you're doing it right. Hold it with one hand, draw a line that goes right off the edge of the paper, and now it looks like I'm driving down the road, right? But we could do lines going down the middle of the road to make it more interesting. And to do that, you just need two more lines that go to the vanishing point. But do them really lightly. Those are construction lines. Do you see I'm not pushing down as hard? Those are construction lines because they're going to help us, but we can erase them later. So now I've got a line going down the road, but I can start splitting it up into sections. And do you see how my ruler's horizontal again? It's not crooked, it's not like that. It's always got to be horizontal, straight across. But I'll just draw a line, move it, draw a line, move it up. I'm not turning it, it's still horizontal, it's still flat. It lines up with the bottom of my paper. So move it, line, and I'm staying inside. They're going to get closer together, and they're also going to get narrower because my receding lines are going to the vanishing point. So it looks like they're going to touch, and eventually you won't be able to use your ruler. You can just kind of make them disappear. They vanish, right? And because we did construction lines, now we can erase these lines in between. But I'm going to do every other one. Do you see that? And it's making the dotted line in the road. So that's why we drew it lightly to start. And I'll just erase every other space going across. And that's how you could make those lines in the road. And then you can go back and make them darker. And that's what construction lines are good for. Construction lines are just very light lines that help you. And you can erase them later. Or you can make them darker later, so you keep what you want and you get rid of what you don't want. So there we go. I've got a 3D road using one-point perspective, but this is kind of a boring landscape. So if we're out in the desert, we could put some cacti in. There's a cactus growing in the desert. And because we're using perspective, we could also do some, diminution, it's called. If something's getting farther away, it looks smaller, right? So these dots are getting farther away, so they're getting smaller. Well, then we can do the same thing with our cacti. If you've got a cactus that's close to you, it's going to be low on the paper and it's going to be big. If it's far away, it's going to be closer to the horizon and it's going to be smaller, like that. Same thing with the clouds. If you have a big cloud in the sky, it's going to be farther away from the horizon. When it gets closer to the horizon, it's just going to get smaller. So think of the horizon as the farthest thing away, and it's going to help you make realistic things in your picture. But as long as you've got a road and you use perspective, you can add whatever you want to this landscape. So work hard, have fun.